so we've looked internally for dealing with what we were talking about, this massive uh, magnetic attraction to go outside and other for a projector.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about things to bring you into the center. But how about family functions and dealing with being close to people? One of my uh, things that I realized is it's so important to be one-on-one with people as much as possible. If you're in a group, it's better not to be in three or lots of folks. Can't avoid it to sit and have a dinner. Be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Don't. There's two things here from me that have been critical. One is do one-on-ones. The other is keep it zipped unless I get an invitation to share.
Yes.
Yeah, that is such a big
Yeah,
energy.
go ahead.
Uh, and I was actually reflecting on that this morning in the water about like earlier in my 20s, just remembering like always wanting to be included in a group activity.
Yeah.
And jumping in and trying to help and trying to be part of everything, and all of that stuff, and how exhausting that was, and how much it really wasn't appreciated, and it really wasn't putting me into alignment with uh, anyone who truly recognized me or got me or respected me, and it was just reflecting on that was really interesting, because I remember one time I was with a bunch of my cousins and their mother, my aunt, and they were washing a dog, and I jumped in there and I was helping them wash this dog, and my aunt just said out loud, she said, Sandy just has to be in the middle of everything. And it's like, wow. Looking back now, it's like, wow, yeah. In the middle of every other person's stuff.
Mm. For me, that is the recognition piece. I never understood that about me for a long time as a projector, but I want to be recognized so badly
Yep.
that I will put myself in these odd circumstances to have that happen. And um, what I've discovered with my experiment is that our superpower, or I feel like my superpower, is recognition the other way. In other words, if I recognize someone and be quiet, it will come back.
Yeah.
Wow, you're really good at that. Tell me more about how you did that. Wow, that's remarkable. I haven't seen many people be able to do that thing right there. I'm recognizing that person. And at some point, they're going to stop and ask me a question. And that's how I get my recognition now. Through my own experiment, I've kind of understood that one way is giving all my energy away. And it's so exhausting, like you were saying, Sandy. And the other is conserving my energy
Yeah.
and really respecting my type.
Yeah. And I think in that whole thing that you said about the superpower of, it's really the magic, I think, with us projectors is that ability to really get in and open someone up with the questions. And in recognizing the other person, there's a lot there that we can recognize about whether or not that person is truly on the same fractal, in the same vibe, all of that stuff. You know, and in that particular, with those particular family members, what I've come to understand is as I've come to understand myself is that those people really are not for me. They don't see me, they don't recognize me when I've been in those situations where I could be one-on-one with them. There really wasn't anything in terms of, you know, questioning and conversation where I could where there was anything that we were connecting on, really.
Right.
It's like to me, there's not a worse energy drain than using my energy trying to get recognized from someone who doesn't recognize me.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I agree.
There's just nothing worse.
Wow. It just
I
feels
think I could
ugly.
plow a garden all day and not feel as tired as, you know, sitting with somebody for 2 hours trying to get them to recognize me when they just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So what's helped me with that is this is one of my experiment tools is that if I'm telling somebody something, I've messed up. Most of the time I want to be asking questions. It's one of that's what you were saying, Sandy. It's the questions that allow me to know who's for me. I already know what I think and what I believe and what I do and what I can see. But what I really need to know is, are they going to recognize me and invite me in? And that won't happen with me telling them anything.
Yeah.
It happens from my questions. So this has been a measurement device. If I listen to myself, I'm consciously aware. Mm-hmm. If I'm talking, telling, man, I need to zip it. Yeah. And the other part of that was, and this is fairly recent, is not everybody is for me.
Yep.
And I have to be okay with that.
Yeah. And isn't that in a certain way, that's kind of a blessing. If everybody for you or me or for Christy, you know, we would be so exhausted. Yeah. One-to-one. Guiding everyone.
Guiding everyone.
Yeah.
Herding cats, right?
Oh, Lord. I find too, like, reflecting, like sometimes, like, because I was just thinking of an experience I had at a little Christmas party over the weekend, and I found myself quickly in a one-on-one conversation in a corner, which is my goal. But I noticed, like, my questions sometimes, and this is just me, like, I don't know, everyone's energy is different and everyone else's response to your energy is different, but my questions sometimes can feel interrogating to people, I think. I don't mean them that way, but like, they're so, like, they can be so, like, because they know that you see something. And so it's sort of like, why are you asking me that? I don't know. And if I feel that energy coming, I back up to just reflecting. Oh, it sounds like, and you put words or, that's where I feel like we're translators. Like, we take what just got shared and then we regurgitate it in a reflection, and then they're able to grab a hold of what they just said in a different way. And they're like, yes, I didn't have the words for that, but that's exactly what it felt like, or that's exactly what I was experiencing. And then they feel recognized. They feel seen in that.
Wow, such a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, I don't experience, like, when you ask me questions, for example, Doc, like, I don't feel the reaction that I sometimes get back from people when I'm asking questions. So I'm always, why did that question trigger that? But I think, I swim in the deep end a lot. So I ask these questions that go to this deep place and they're like, whoa, we're not going there. You're like, oh, sorry. My bad. Let me back up a minute.
Let's back up to how was your day?
Just kidding. How was work?
Are you enjoying the cheese dip?
And to me,
it can be intimidating and very intense. We are intense humans
yes.
in that
Yeah.
we take it for granted, but we penetrate very deeply into the other, and some people are not happy with that idea at all, right?
Nope.
So I think your idea of reflecting is, wow, that's the other side of asking questions, is being aware then of, are you going too deep in there?
Yeah, it feels like they're reflecting. If the reflection connects with the person, that's where I'm like earning their trust to ask the question, kind of. Feels like I'm earning trust or the right to even ask. Yeah.
Yeah, it's as though there has to be that openness, and I think that's what we're talking about, is like having a way to feel into whether or not, especially with the, if we want to get really strict about types, the projector generator relationship or conversation, there's this openness that a generator who's for us, at least in that moment, will have, and it's kind of up to us to sort of feel whether or not that's there,
Yep.
And a lot of times what seems to happen is that the questions will also come to open up the questioning from us, or at least that's how I've experienced it. Like I'll get questions that will be like the opening, the signal that the aura is open and they want to know, and I can go in and ask my questions at a deeper, in that deeper realm that will then open them up even further.
And I find in that space, I had this happen to me twice last week, actually. There's something else, there's something otherly happening. Like we're almost just holding the space with our seeing and our knowing, because like people will say back to me things that I did not say.
That's a fifth line experience.
Or I'm like, this happened even with a client, and he was like, can you send me any notes that you wrote down? Because this session was like really good and I really want to go back over it. I'm like, yeah, I'll send those over. And our next session, he was like, man, your takeaways from our session were not my takeaways from our session. It's like, wow.
Okay. Well, you're a 2-4, right?
Yeah.
So that projection field, you project out. Just like a radio station's on a station, and you don't even know what the station is, but it's projecting out, right? And that's what that person sees, hears, feels, and they're going, wait a minute, what station are you on? I'm over here.
I'm over here in the inside station, the hermit station.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.